Yeah, you're gonna get tired of hearing my voice. You're gonna get tired of seeing my voice, but you ain't gonna get tired of seeing me. But keeping it real with you, I've been working on this for really, I'll say 6 years. I came up with this idea when I was at Wisconsin prior to graduating, where I was like, I know I'm gonna be coming back to Miami. I know how strong education is. I've been around a lot of teammates and collegiate peers of mine. Specifically, we bring this conversation to about black men, especially in school, where asking for help is a hard thing just because we be in our own heads, ego, but also just the ability to ask for help and not feel dumb, not feel like you're lesser than, where there's a lot of challenges that are in education that people know about, but they don't speak about privately. Well, they speak about it privately, and then publicly they just apply all the different shaming tactics where we just keep on this pattern and recycle. Being inside the education system now for 6 years, I was in Miami-Dade. I thank God my mom had me have my foundations in Broward County, which is where I've been this school year. You just have a better formality of a foundation being in place, but the curriculum and content is still the same. You still have the same problems with kids, still have the same problems with teachers. I say the uniqueness of math for someone like myself, I represent a small population of black males who are in education, and then let alone a smaller percentage, which is only one, who teach instruction like math. For me, algebra, geometry, all the other calculus. I stopped at calculus too, personally, myself. But what I loved about math, especially being an athlete, is if you don't put in the work, it's going to show. And if you're not on point, it's going to show. So I took everything that I learned, hard process to try to turn all of this into curriculum and coursework, but at the same time it brings out the positive and the negative traits of yourself to say, what is the gift, what is the purpose, what is the passion, what is the success that I have, what is the things that make me good at something, to now push it even further, where you got to be your number one, your own cheerleader. A lot of people, of course, want to support you, but anything, especially with social media, where you got people like want to start something new and they're like, man, I want my people to support me and all this other stuff, right? Both sides of those coins are true. But the main thing is you got to keep on going, and the support is going to come. And the most important part is you're going to actually find the tribe or the people who know your voice and what it is that you're saying and how they can connect with you, which is just like school, where you can be in a school and you might not have the best learning environment. People might be interested in things that you don't care about. But when you get into a whole new setting and you find your tribe and you're like, man, I wish I had y'all early, and y'all have similar stories that say, I had the same story like you, it's such a beautiful thing. That's one thing I love about college. It's one thing I also love about transferring and being in so many different schools and learning environments, is I've never been stuck. And I also had the privilege of having a unique opportunity where I've been in Broward County for my foundations, been in Miami-Dade County for high school. I went to 3 high schools overall. I went to a affluent school with Dr. Michael Kropp, same school Trayvon Martin went to. I could share more deeper into that story another time. Went to Miami Carroll City, a Title I school. You could label it inner city, but it ain't like the city of Miami. But that was all, black school. And you see the issues that happen within our own community that was in there. And then from there, I went to a private Catholic school where it was a college prep, really, in Youngstown, called Youngstown Ursuline. and just having different learning styles, learning environments. I know it's like to just be on my own. Necessarily didn't have that, I'll say, like, class that you get to grow with, so really I just had myself, which is a good thing. And then I carried that same trait with me in college, where I went to 3 colleges. I went to a school in South Euclid, Ohio, that's no longer actually enrollment, called Notre Dame College. I went to a junior college in Kansas called Dodge City Community College. And then I went to the Midwest, where I was already located. I went to the great state of Wisconsin, where I played football with the University of Wisconsin-Madison Badgers, which really changed my life and allowed me to see the potential that God has for me and the man that I'm supposed to be, where I did everything. Like, there's some things I felt like I left on the table, but it allowed me to tap into my leadership, where I was heavily involved on campus. I was the first Black male student athlete to be elected to student government and serve on the Big Ten Advisory Board, and as well as ASM, which is the Associate Students in Madison, Student Government Board. I was able to travel and teach English in China. I was able to travel to Ireland and present research with the International Colloquium on Black Males in Education, which is the eye-opener where I came in, and here I am. I finally got my business together. I'm proud to say that it's alive, it's up. Went through that whole transformation of, wanting to bring people to help bring me on board, and Boston Richie helped me. Some people want to help, and then some people, I guess, human behavior, human nature, I could offer help and it don't go that way. And then as well as on myself, I wasn't direct to say what exactly I need help with or how you can help me, and learn just the whole world of business and being an entrepreneur, to be on the outside lens, but actually be inside of it, to be like, yo. But along that route and that journey, it takes you everywhere. You get to learn people, but most importantly, you get to learn yourself. And I'm happy to really bring that in front of you all. With math, you gotta be smart, you gotta be funny, you gotta showcase your personality. That's things that I like to do and specialize with. So I like to put that in my content, my curriculum, and yeah. Go ahead and fill out an application. See where you reside. I like to help out students at all levels. I worked with scholar students, which is where I was at my first 3 years, where I worked the honors gifted in middle school, which was a fun time at Horace Mann Middle School. And then I started working with your level ones, freshmen in algebra at Miami Booker T. A blessing. And then I got to see Miami Norland last year, where I taught geometry and then college prep for college algebra for seniors who are graduating. And that was a whole experience, where those graduating seniors from last year were basically the kids when I started teaching in middle school, where they were the pandemic kids. So you can see how that played a role for students going online. If they didn't hold themselves accountable, they just ain't learn, or they'll just start cheating and not going to class. So you start developing these other patterns, because you got this freedom that if you don't got structure for it, you start doing whatever. So to have those students be honest with me, say, I ain't gonna lie to you, I just did what I needed to do to get by. And then they realize, oh dang, I actually got a math teacher who knows this stuff and can teach it and explain it. And they how you know this stuff? And I'll say that's my gift. You know, that's something that God has blessed me with, where just being a just natural mathematician, and you know, I have a political science background, I have an engineering background, so when I look at different things and put them into your also environmental science, but your literacy component, especially within, you know, Title I, black neighborhoods, black schools, poor, low funding, etc., however you want to label it. Um, yes, there's a big issue with underfunding. Yes, big issue with quote unquote leaders in your community who know about this, but maybe are just not as passionate, or the work and commitment to be done to try to put money and funding in education, they go where the money trail really is. And then inside the schools, you have leaders, quote unquote, um, or maybe like anything, you may have had a passion, and then eventually just life gets to you where you're just not as passionate. You take on other roles and responsibilities that you might have not just been the best trained and prepared for, as well as just working with anything with regards with humans. You want to have stuff to be in order, and life be life, and stuff just goes all over the place and off the rails. So I have that empathy to understand that perception, but at the same time, nobody got that creativity like me, which is what propelled me to start doing what it is I need to do and create what I want to create. And here we are. So I just thank God for it. I don't think I could do anything any further, which is what I'll say 28 and 29 told me about life, where I'll say I probably got comfortable with my God-given gifts and talents. I think on social media, people will talk about it. They say you go through your Job era or season, and it's like you get out of that, you go through that journey, you got to find the thing that is your North Star and what you're called for. And you have to make sure you hold God first and be proud to acknowledge that, because tomorrow's not promised. Sometimes we can feel like we are living to infinity. I still feel young as it is, but you know, kids could look at me as a aunt. But everything's here, man. I know we all have something that we're passionate with, and some of us may just need that push. Maybe some of us need somebody to just step out and just do it. Now you got other people gonna follow. And that's math right there. Like, you do something that is one, which is linear, and then it grows, which becomes exponential. So I specialize in that. I could talk all day about various math terms, making that relatable. But instead of talking about it all day, I did something about it. Go to Math Relation, click on the link in the bio, fill out an application, and let's get you started.